Thank you.
Now, I want to preface one thing, okay? If you see the vacuum raptors shutting down while the sailors are still ongoing...
I think it's crazy that I can get real-time footage from a goddamn spaceship out in goddamn space, okay? And we have that level of internet, but my stream F's with regular frequency in the heart of Los Angeles. It does not make sense. SpaceX testing Starship again after
the booster and the ship
2 failures.
Help keep the cryogenic propellant cold. They do have some time, and again, this is the moment when they're in the control room and they're doing these checkouts of the ship. They're looking. They want to make sure everything is green. This thing uphill.
I mean, you say that jokingly, but that was the unironic reaction to this statement. I mean, I know. I know.
Up to T-minus 1 minute. Go
Well,
ahead.
you hate
Sounds like
Israel.
they're using this hold T-minus 40 to do additional checkouts of boosters Raptors.
Will it fail again,
so again,
Gamba?
29 of these Raptors are going to be flying for a second time. You might want to make extra sure that they're going to be good to go in the final moments leading up to launch, which we're coming up 10 seconds away from that. We will see, 28 for a second time.
Yep.
1 for a third time. Thank you, Adrian.
Which is awesome.
I appreciate being nitpicked in that way because I would do it to you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely you would.
So we're in a hold now. We're in a hold. That's fine. Starship is not like Falcon 9. As we've said, it does use sort of densified propellants a little bit, but it's not the same as Falcon 9. There's so much propellant mass. There's so much volume there that they have a little bit more time before they can... before things start to warm up to a point where they
let's
have to
go into the
recycle,
future.
right?
Yeah,
Keep your eye.
there's the T-minus 40 seconds optional hold that is taken.
Yeah, and as of right now, the vehicle and the ship, they're fully loaded. They're doing those final checkouts. And this is really important for those Raptors because, you know, they're eventually going to go to 35. And we want to make sure, I mean, they got to make sure, like you said, 28 of these are flown twice. Go ahead. Alex?
We'll see if they reach 35. I want to say one thing, though. Be on the lookout, because if they clear the hold, it can be very quickly. Remember, it's 40 seconds, right? Be on the lookout, because sometimes the information from SpaceX might be delayed. Even 10 seconds of delay, that's already a quarter of the way to T0, right? So we should be on the lookout as well for what is happening at the launch pad. If we hear certain vents or the detonation suppression system activating and things like that, that is an indication that they have cleared, right? And so just making sure, because 40 seconds might seem like an eternity, but it's very quickly.
It's a very certain vent we are here. Like I'm sure Alex is listening for right now, and I'm listening for it now. Yep,
Clock is
rolling.
Here we go.
Good luck.
There we go.
Guys, T-minus 30 seconds. You're going to see the fire suppression system, then the deluge, and we're going to stop there. Go for launch.
Hold.
Yep.
They're
Water
holding.
deluge. Yep.
All right, no big deal. Again, they have the ability to hold a little bit.
Yeah, so do they recycle? Here's a question. Do they recycle it back to the T-40?
If it is before deluge activation, yes. If not, then that will be the S word, but I'm not going to say it.
Right. It does look like the deluge has not activated. Obviously, we can see it.
It doesn't look like it activated, so they could still try today again. Okay?
Did the detonation suppression system activate?
Yeah, but they have multiple tries for that one.
Okay, they have multiple charges of that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. In theory, they should be able to be good with that.
So again, you're watching live launch coverage of Starship Flight 9. Both booster and ship are fully loaded. They held at 40 seconds. The clock continued to move. And
ground side issue.
And we are awaiting the activation of the water deluge system and the fire suppression system underneath the OLM.
They have they're working on a whatever that exactly means, but they're working on a ground side issue. That could be, for example, I'm just spilling things here. Like, for example, the ground side of the Raptor start. Because they ground side start some of the Raptors. That could be one of the ground side issues here. It could be some last minute of the QD issues. That's the kind of ground side things we are talking about here. That could be potentially an issue here, but we are probably getting more information at some point.
Remember to breathe, everyone.
Thank you
remember
for that. Yeah, thank you for that.
My face is turning red. Remember,
I think. Go ahead.
Good. No, I was going to say SpaceX calls the ground support equipment stage 0. And it's just as important that work every time 100% the way we want it to. That is just as rapidly reusable going forward as the ship and the booster itself. So this is very important as they look at this issue. This is not a ship issue. This is not a booster issue. This is a stage 0.
This is such a gross oversimplification, but if you've ever made a model rocket and set it off, but it doesn't go off the little launch pad thing, right? And kind of just goes sideways or just sits there and doesn't do anything, and the parachute pops out all sad. Like, you don't want that. You want the ground support equipment to work properly.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been to a 4th of July or have seen a firework that you hit the launch button or light the fuse disappears, and you're sitting there like, uh-oh, now what? Do we walk up to it? So they're working these issues, and we are just like you on the edge of our seats. We are waiting for word from SpaceX that they're going to recycle to a 40-second hold. They have some time, or keep going. We're looking for the fire suppression system and the deluge system. Go ahead, Jack.
What do we have left in the window? Like 55 minutes? How long is the window, Adrian?
We have. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, but now that they have loaded propellant, the hold time is like 15-20 minutes. It's not that long.
Got it. Oh, wow.
They're still looking at all of the systems and everything.
Is this the longest they've ever held in a Starship count?
Maybe? No.
Maybe only because I'm always in the field?
We had like a 10-minute hold somewhere. I'm trying to remember, but I think we are in one of the earlier flights we had like a 10-minute or so hold. Again, they have some options here. Let's not we are not yet in a
they've got time. They've got time.
And of course, this is the obligatory point in the launch broadcast where I say you'd rather be on the ground wishing you're in space than being in space or in the air wishing you were on the ground. Of course, we all want to see the thing happen at the designated time, but ultimately, rocket science is super, super complicated. That's why they call it rocket science. It's not brain surgery, but it is rocket science. So, you want to make sure what is essentially your giant fuel tanks and very fancy plumbing is going to work properly. And if it's not looking it's going to work properly, then you need to fix it.
Clock rolling.
Clock's rolling?
Yep.
So now we watch for the DSS.
For it.
Watch for the Watch the bottom part of the stack.
There it is.
See fire suppression.
There it is. Watch for the deluge.
Let's see.
Oh my God! Here we go.
Yes.
Is it wobbly? I feel like its direction seems off. That thing's sipping on lean. Get your expert brother on here, newsboy. He's busy, bro. He's busy building rockets. Is this manned? I don't think so. No, it's a test launch, right? Is Oprah on this rocket? No, no one's on it. Dude, oh my God, it'd be sweet if Elon was on it.
You can see 33 healthy Raptor engines as Flight 9 takes off and it's on its way uphill. A beautiful launch, guys. Absolutely amazing audio. As we are through max Q and approaching stage separation, keep your eye on it. You'll see the stage separation through the amazing tracking. Is this DOS? I'm assuming this is DOS with his amazing tracking rig.
Based on the angle, I think it's either DOS or Gauge. I'm not sure. I would be willing to wager DOS. But you're right, Gene. 33 healthy Raptor engines. That's so important to point out, as so many of these are being reused. And that's the first thing I noticed on liftoff. They look good. I see a bright circle there with no dim spots.
What you're going to see now is
tickets items are coming. The big ticket items are still coming.
You might notice the rocket is in a different attitude now. It has rolled for the hot staging and the directional flip.
Here we go.
There's most engines cut off.
There we go.
SpaceX stream a little delayed. It's fine.
Yep.
There it is.
Miko.
Wow, you could even see them throttled down before Miko. That was cool. Hot staging.
There's the flip.
Oh, that goes up. There goes up. It goes up.
It is going up.
That's beautiful.
And goodbye, booster.
Also,
boost back.
6 healthy engines on. Yep.
13 for the boost back as well.
13 healthy engines for boost back. Guys, this is going to be a rough ride for Booster 14-2. Just pay attention. We look.
Engine bay cam.
Yes.
Healthy engines taking Starship.
Did they label the Raptors without serial numbers, but with what engine number they are?
No, they have both. They have both.
Okay.
Yeah.
We come back to our tracking of the boosters. It's
God, they're nutty.
This is going to be a steeper trajectory, or
that made bros wet, dude.
Like shutdown of the boost back burn.
It did.
There goes the hot stage in here. Look at that.
They're going to be testing this booster like crazy. So we
that got
might see
pussy's
some fireworks
bro's
as it comes
pussy
down
wet.
and hits the atmosphere. We don't know what to
He's
expect.
like,
SpaceX hasn't really done anything like this with a booster since they started catching them, or maybe even at all. So all eyes are on Booster 14-2 right now, slowly heading toward its noble demise, but hopefully providing some awesome data in the process.
I'm really interested to see the engine out test.
And we also keep an eye on the ship. Don't you worry.
Yes.
Like we have everything here monitored, and again, the ship issues the last time happened after the booster both did their touchdown. So basically, the moment this booster is out of frame is when we put every attention we have on that ship.
Right. What was the timing of the anomalies on 7 and 8? Was it like 7 or 8 minutes into flight, or am my brain just broken?
It's like right after touchdown. It's like 8 minutes-ish. Like every time people start celebrating on the stream, Alex and I went like, but...
Yeah.
Ooh, hot staging ring. Check that out.
Yeah, it's so cool.
You can distinctly see it separate from the booster. So Kerbal. I mean, booster looks fine so far, right? So far.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not in the atmospheric, like, really, where it will do some crazy atmospheric things.
Right. Also, please ship 35 do good. Please ship 35 do good.
Come on, 35.
Come on, 35. Come on, 14-2.
Here comes the booster. Okay. You can see the back end. Those are vents. Those are purge vents, right?
Yeah.
You see from the bottom of the booster.
The fact that this booster's still in frame, by the way, is remarkable.
And we are going to hear audio of that engine. We always do, even though it's out over the Gulf. Remember, no catch. They're going potentially simulated catch. But look at the angle of it. It's totally different.
Should be coming up on that. There we go. Look at that.
Amazing. That thing is really coming in fast.
Uh-oh.
The bottom section just heating up from aero forces. There's some ablative cork underneath there.
Isn't it supposed to start
versions of booster being replaced by
hitting
metal tiles, but that
the
red
boosters
glow
at
you
some
can see, it almost
point
looks like a
to
cigarette
stop its
lighter.
descent?
Looks like the booster's descending into the haze.
So AFTS has been saved, so no FTS active on this booster anymore. That's normal.
That's good.
Yeah, it's always tough
It's
to
as
see
late as possible.
when it's out over the Gulf. And it's in
Just
the
coming
haze.
up on that landing burn for the booster.
Oh,
Oh,
come on.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
That looked like a rat.
yeah.
Oh, I mean, we said it might be
very
possible.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back to the ship.
Now that's the big
Back to the
ticket. We
ship.
knew
Yep.
that could happen
Yep.
with the booster. Don't panic about this. Don't like this was expected. This is the big ticket item.
Six engines.
How are we looking so far? I see 6. Yeah.
Plus
The booster
I
is
see
not
50 seconds.
was planned
I
out to be
will mention
reusable,
some
but it
vents we have
failed.
seen inside of the engine bay that are, but they could be part of the new purge system that is placed in the attic to also like protect the section there. So so far, I would say,
Oh, finally, the speed.
yeah. Thank
Now,
you.
I want to preface one thing, okay? If you see the vacuum raptors shutting down while the sailors are still ongoing,
I think it's crazy that I can get real-time footage from a goddamn spaceship out in goddamn space, okay? And we have that level of internet, but my stream Fs with regular frequency in the heart of Los Angeles. It does not make sense. I'm sorry. How the are we getting real-time footage from the ass cheeks of a goddamn spaceship all the way up there, but I can't get uninterrupted broadband in the middle of West Hollywood? God, I hate it. I hate it so much. No, I don't need Starlink because I'm sure that Starlink would not give you uninterrupted access here. Starlink is cooked when it's actually cloudy. What are you supposed to do? Hezbollah has better internet than me. Yes,
like
Yeah,
there's
there's a
true.
bit of a
Oh,
hotspot there.
Oh no.
You see that?
okay,
Yes.
terminal guidance. Shipping some terminal guidance. It's adjusting its final
Is that a little
few
bit of
seconds of the burn.
flame from
I
the
saw that
attic?
too at the very top. Yep. Oh, come
A
on.
bit of flame. Come on, ship. I'll pull through.
You're so close, buddy.
Oh
You're
god.
so close, 35. Come on,
This
buddy.
stress is killing me.
Should be close to Arvac. Shut down, given the previous ships. There we
There's
go.
Outrage shutdown. Outrage shutdown.
Okay. 1,000
bit more,
kilometers
dude.
per hour away from Seco.
You can do
Come
it.
on, buddy.
Now purge the stew out of it.
Come on,
Yes,
buddy.
Be chill. Just be
Should
chill.
we
You have
close?
it.
Come on.
I think they got it.
Yes! Cut off!
Let's go.
Oh
they
my
did it.
Gosh.
Phew.
Yes.
I'm seeing additional hot spots, but who cares? They got
Okay.
to Seco.
Yes.
Oh!
I'm. Give me a second. I need to release some things
That's
here.
amazing. That's
Adrian.
absolutely amazing.
He said, I need to release something here. He means his nut. He needs to release
Look
his
at
nut.
that. It looks like there's some interaction between some of the ice that's being shed. It's like getting
Yeah, there's-
sucked back
there's-
into the...
There are vents at the bottom of the aft.
Is it tumbling, or do you think it's reorienting?
He's releasing his nut.
There's a lot of venting going
There's
on.
only one way to find out.
Real.
Yeah.
What a beautiful machine. I'm so glad they got through Seco. I'm sure they got tons of really valuable data. I really want
Yes.
to know what some of those things we saw were. What's that red stripe on the side? Is that fine? That's fine, right? That's probably just gap fill for the TPS or something.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. I'm going to say it's fine.
Yeah, one of the
know.
things to take also into account when these ships fly, right, they are not carrying 100 tons of propellant. So they have still leftover, excuse me, not 100 tons of propellant, 100 tons of cargo. So they still have leftover propellant. And what they're doing right now is dumping that, right? And so that's a similar thing that we've seen in previous flights. And those vents at the bottom, for example, that we saw venting, those are normal. They are in fact there.
Just saw
as
achieved,
sort of a-
carried through across all of
Is
our
this
sites.
paid enthusiasm? Have you ever not? No, this is not paid enthusiasm. This is the most genuine, authentic, autistic enthusiasm you will ever encounter, dude. Are you kidding me?
So far for Starship's 9th test flight. We lifted off a little bit after 6:30 p.m. after a couple of holds.
It's
that
literally,
were
it's just,
triggered at the
it's
T-minus
space
40-second mark.
autism.
But we were able to clear those, one on the Raptor, one on the tower, and we were able to lift off successfully from Starbase. 33 out of 30.
Nerds in the
Raptor
chat
engines
acting,
lit
they
on
like
super
they don't
heavy.
act just
All
like
6
this. I
engines
know.
lit on ship, bringing it to its
Like when
planned
you finally
suborbital
secure the
trajectory
holy
around
grail
Earth.
of the
But as Dan said, we've got a
40K
lot
figurine
still
that you were
coming
looking
up
for
in
this
our
whole
flight
time.
sequence. So coming up at about T plus 18 minutes, 26 seconds, we'll have the first deployment of simulated Starlink satellites planned from Starship. That will be followed at about T plus 37 minutes and 49 seconds by the relight of a single Raptor sea level engine in space. This is going to help us gather data on our ability to do a deorbit burn for future Starship missions that will go orbital. And then, of course, one of the biggest
Sex
tests yet
Haver,
to
thank
come
you for
is
the
the
10
new
gifted
heat shield
subs.
modifications to Starship, and that'll start with re-entry into Earth's atmosphere at about the T plus 45 minute mark, which should take about 18 minutes to complete. And now today's re-entry is going to test that heat shield like we said, specifically how Starship will hold up to 100 missing heat shield tiles on its thermal protection system. Now, we purposely took the...
Please stop engaging in... Please stop. You are engaging in anti-STEM action. Yes, STEM lords are vital to our society, but subjecting normies to listen to them nerd out is creating so much anti-STEM hate in your community, including me. Yeah, no, that's why I've been doing it. That's why I've been doing it. I want people to feel the way that I do about space autists. As you might know, I am related to one. Actually, NASA engineer here. Absolutely fucking hate Elon Musk and don't think his plans for Mars are realistic. Thoughts all of my own. But this is definitely cool technology and its progress towards some cool science we can conduct to better understand people and our planets. Yeah, I don't do anti-Semitism, but I do engage in anti-Stemitism. Yes. I am anti-STEM-medic. No quarters for STEM lords. I'm also a NASA engineer. I sabotaged a rocket. It's going to blow in 2 minutes. Yeah, what the fuck? Wait, maybe that chatter was right. What the hell?
What a great update from Chris.
This view...
I was just about to make fun of him. I was about to make fun of that chatter, and then, you know, the footage freaked out for a second. Big fan of you, but that anti-Stemitism joke is ass. Classic STEM lord immediately. He's like, I'm in the crosshairs. I don't like it. Bro felt attacked. Yeah. All right. Let's get back to it. Europe changes the rules on long-range missiles.
That from now on, Ukraine can use the weapons that have been donated to it, the missiles, by the West, at unlimited ranges. And that's quite a big point. Until now, Ukraine has been fairly limited in the ranges it can use these weapons at. But now that restriction is taken off. And there are 3 main types of weapons that we're most interested in this respect. One is Storm Shadow, the British weapon. There's also a French version called Scalp. It's exactly the same weapon. That's air-launched and very capable. Another one is the Atacms, which is the American weapon launched from the ground. It's a ground-based weapon, ground to ground. And the third one, the one that we're most interested in...
Hasan on me! Thank you for the 50 gifted subs. I will be purchasing Atacms with the money. Your financial contributions not only help me maintain editorial independence, but also allow me to purchase Atacms, which is perhaps the most American name you can give an American missile system. Atacms.
Really, is the Taurus missile. Now, Ukraine probably doesn't have any of these yet, but it may be getting them very soon. Not confirmed, but...
Distance limits have been lifted. Time for Ukraine to strike the White House to get the U.S. serious about getting a peace deal. I don't think any of those have that range, but
that looks like the probability. And the Taurus missile has a better range and a much more sophisticated warhead.
I'm giving the Houthis Atacms with your financial contributions.
Than Storm Shadow or Scalp. And the reason that these weapons are so important in the next phase of this war is the range that they can cover inside Russia. If we look at a map of the ranges that these weapons may cover, think in terms of a firing point somewhere around the northern frontier of Ukraine, somewhere around Sumy. That's just a guess on our part. But you can see there how much of Western Russia might be covered by these weapons. And there's something else here. Whereas Atacms has got a fixed range, it's ground to ground, Taurus and Storm Shadow are launched from aircraft. So their range is extended by wherever the aircraft goes. If a Ukrainian aircraft went into Russian airspace and released any of those weapons, then they go even further. And that's why these weapons would have a big effect, potentially, on the next phase of the war, because the Ukrainians could target the fixed areas of Russian reinforcements, the logistics hubs, the underground bunkers, the airfields, and even the concentrations of armour and troops, as we believe the Russians are preparing for a new offensive in the north of the country and in the southeast of the country. And that's why the Russians are so angry about this statement. They're making all sorts of frightening statements, as they always do. They normally talk about the danger of nuclear escalation.
I love missile time on QVC. Get ready. There's more of them. There will be more of
I'd be
them.
surprised if they don't say that in the next 24 or 48 hours. Don't take it too seriously, but that's where we are for now.
Ukraine needs Western targeting data and operators to do long-range strikes. Deep strikes into Russia will be directly done by West. Ukraine cannot target anything. They have literally 0 sats. Yeah. Also, this will create insane retaliation towards Ukraine as well.
President Trump is showing.
But then again, I don't know what the fuck you do about it. You know what I mean? Like insane retaliation. Because there were suspicions that, I don't know how true this is, but there were suspicions that Ukrainian drones almost targeted, like there was some rumors swirling about that Ukrainian drones almost targeted Vladimir Putin's helicopter on its way back from Kursk. And then that was why they bombed the fuck out of Kiev.
His unabashed frustration with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Today, President Trump posted, quote, "What Vladimir Putin doesn't realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of really bad things would have already happened to Russia." And I mean,
dude, what is this? Dude, he's a child. This is a child. A child is running the country, the most powerful country on the planet. Yeah, he means he's gonna release fucking Ryan Ruth. That's what he means. He's going to release the brave soldier Ryan Ruth and his 1,000 NATO-trained Afghan soldiers and sick them on Russia. Release the Kraken.
Really bad. That's in all caps. He's playing with fire. That fire might come in the form of new sanctions, according to sources talking to CNN. Joining us now, CNN political and national security analyst David Sanger of the New York Times. He also wrote the book New Cold Wars, China's Rise, Russia's Invasion, and America's Struggle to Defend the West. David, thanks for joining us. What bad things is President Trump talking about that would have...
Starship failed?
Love it.
I cannot believe you guys did. You mad lads. Just another way you can support what we do. Also, I'm sure the team out in the field is working on metal print.
Okay, I have something to tell you here. NSF.
Yeah, I don't know. He said it was very critical because in case they lose a heat shield tile at a critical point on the ship, that tells me this is a test of their
Exciting day so far. There's more in the next few minutes.
What a great update from Chris.
This view, is that from the FTS box? The flight.
Wait, that one chatter was not wrong? He actually works at NASA and he sabotaged the operation? What the fuck? The timeline matches up. What the fuck? Dude. What the fuck? Yeah, Space Force is about to come knocking down your door, chatter. What the hell happened?
Flight termination system box?
It might be.
It looked like it was looking up, right?
Whoa.
Look at those colors.
Is that,
it's going
is that
into
plasma?
No, that's sunset.
Sunset.
It's going into sunset now.
What a I know I keep saying this. What a gorgeous machine.
Yeah.
Wait, did it actually fuck up or no?
I'm so glad it made it. It made it.
Yeah,
these guys are still nutting.
So do we think it's going to make it through entry?
I said it again. Like
100 missing tiles.
Well, it's now on a path at least to get to the entry interface. Another whole thing is whether it survives afterward.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. He said it was very critical because in case they lose a heat shield tile at a critical point on the ship, that tells me this is a test of they want to see if it can make it or not. 50 at that point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. You got to figure if you have a crewed vehicle like a Starship coming back in. Oh,
hey, look at that!
Yes, I wanted this for the deployment.
Please,
yes.
Please show us the door open and the payload deploy. Please.
Oh my god!
Okay, door off to left, door off to right.
You can't nut that hard, dude.
Below
It is.
us,
This is
sure.
fucked up.
I don't know either.
I'm actually not. No, I don't know. I can't tell.
I think door below us because look at the rails, the feeding rails.
I think it was to the
That's
right or to
beautiful.
the left. I'm not sure. Either way,
Have some
to
respect,
complete the thought,
sir.
If you had a crewed vehicle,
What
and you're
happened to
coming back in,
decency, sir?
And you're missing tiles, and you know you're missing tiles, you probably want to know exactly how many you can miss while still being safe, and you probably want to know exactly where you can miss them. Like, what if you miss one on this weld line? What if you miss one on this?
So about 14 minutes from now. Ooh.
Hey, there's the top of the Margaritaville.
Hello.
We've got
Hi,
Ross,
y'all.
Gage, and D. Hey, guys. You look fantastic. Great tracking.
So did it fail
was
or
great.
not?
They look all very like they are just roasted by the sun.
Getting plenty of sunshine. They're talking
Might be-
amongst themselves.
Oh,
I
payload
think they
did not
think we can
deploy.
hear them, but we can't.
No.
Can
Go
chat
do
hear
more
them?
work.
The door was stuck and their fake payload
We
did
love
not
you.
deploy.
Thank you for all the hard work.
You guys are awesome. You guys
we
are
can't
awesome.
hear you. Hopefully, chat can hear
So
you.
I guess technically it's a
He's
failure.
going to show the rack now, and all of the equipment that they have to haul up to the roof.
Which is actually quite hard to do.
It is.
I've done it many
Especially-
times.
It's
It sucks.
now we're getting into the summertime, which really, like, if you've ever been on the roof of anything in the summer, let alone a hotel on the beach, then you know being on the roof is no joke. Oh, we got a thumbs up at the end too.
Awesome. Ship 35 in its coast phase. We're waiting on an official report of what happened to Booster 14-2. I saw a relight, but
It looked like it blew up when it relayed.
Yeah, I think it had too much. So, again, it was an experiment, and we are all like, nobody here I think is bummed right now, right? Like this,
No.
Yeah.
this was potentially going to happen. This is what they wanted to test. They wanted to test the limit, and spoiler, they found one. Yeah.
Beach people.
they're okay. Yeah, and they saw it. Apparently, the shot of South Padre Island there, that's what the beach looks like. And yeah, those people went to see a launch. They saw a launch. They saw a successful stage separation, and they saw the booster return to a point. And
It seems to me that the booster, what happened is that when it said relight, it said, okay, I'll light myself up.
it lit more than the 13 engines. Let's as the ship is coasting, right? It's in its coast phase. Let's go to Ryan Caton for a trajectory update. Ryan?
Well, here we go. Not exactly the trajectory, but we do have the timeline.
Look
of
at the
course,
hair.
8 minutes, 56 seconds. That is when second engine cutoff took place. That was a very nice thing to see. But let's move the timeline forwards, and let's move towards... Whoa, nearly falling over here. Let's move towards something that isn't happening, the Starlink demo deployment. I'm going to move that cabinet out of the way for the next flight. You can be rest assured of that. But something we do have coming up is the Raptor in space relight demo.
Bro, it's
That's
like a
coming
whole
up
different person from this angle.
into flight here. That's actually scheduled for 21 seconds later than it was for the last flight. Of course, the last flight didn't actually get to that point, but an interesting note with the timeline. So that's coming up at 40 minutes into flight approximately. And then as we move onwards, we are of course going to get to the re-entry of the Starship. Entry interface should be occurring approximately 30 seconds later than they thought it would be doing on the previous flight. However,
I
this
love
is where
these
things
guys, man. Okay,
because
I
the
take
next
it back.
event, that's when Starship is transonic. That's only 6 seconds.
STEM
later.
lords are
So
the
this
best,
timeline
dude.
is
Look at
actually
how
a little bit more
excited they
spicy on
are.
the ship side of things. That's just passing over an hour and 3 minutes there into flight.
Chat, y'all are making fun of
And then going
the
to
reflection
go
in the
through
mirror
the
at this
supersonic
point.
rating, transonic will be
Okay?
Subsonic again, 6 minutes later than the previous flight. And if I pause it here again, only 5 seconds later for the landing flip. This is 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 11 seconds into flight here for the ship. And then, of course, we will get, fingers crossed, if we make it through re-entry, a exciting landing. That burn starting 10 seconds earlier than was planned on the previous flight, and then splashdown occurring 12 seconds later than was planned on the previous flight. 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 38 seconds after leaving Starbase. Fingers crossed the ship should make it to the Indian Ocean. And one more thing just to check out very quickly, where actually will the ship be landing? Let's take a look at the re-entry zone here. Leaving Australia, this is the Indian Ocean. We of course have our airspace closures for Madagascar, Mauritius and Australian airspace. The ship will be coming from Africa over, clipping the south of Madagascar and then slowly coasting. We'll start re-entry around this area here. This is where we'll start to see plasma generating on the belly of Starship. It will then re-enter the atmosphere, and hopefully, if it's in the same location as the previous flights, we will see a soft splashdown, or at least a splashdown, around this area here in Australian airspace.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Ryan, for that. We have a breaking news update.
Yeah, so it's not. I'm not sounding the big alarm yet. I'm like I've like multiple alarms. I'm pushing the medium size alarm. The ship is definitely giving me a bit of like 28 vibes. It's quite spinny on overall, and that's not what I like to super see.
Look at the bottom right. We're talking about the attitude indicator there. There you go. Thank you, Kevin. That attitude indicator. I mean, maybe it's just doing a barbecue roll. It's just doing like a thermal management.
Oh, can we go full screen? There we go. Yeah, that's
or maybe
ship
it's
28
tumbling out of
vibes.
control.
It's sort of actually more like ship 34, but without the engines.
It's interesting.
It's gonna be an interesting re-entry.
They're not.
Let's say that.
It doesn't look like they're able to get stable video off of it, perhaps because of attitude control issues. Clearly speculating here. I'm speculating just based on a graphic, but you see how it's intermittent like that, and then the ship will roll to a point where the dish can no longer.
You're making
have a
fun of these
connection,
guys
and
when
they
this
lose
is
it.
you.
That's
Oh
what
my
it
God,
feels like
Riz,
anyways.
Riz, I'm a baby. I'm a little baby.
Who would have thought that Block 2 will repeat the same 3 first flights?
Calm
of
down.
Block
I don't
1?
know what that has to do with anything.
So I have a question. We saw a clean engine shutdown sequence. At least it looked like
Oh
that from the
shit! It
telemetry
might
we were
re-enter
getting.
and break up over land,
What
and that's really
would the
bad.
venting have caused this? I'm trying to figure out what forces on this vehicle would have caused it to do this.
A vent could have frozen and stuck open.
Yeah,
that's possible. Has that happened on a previous flight? That sounds vaguely familiar to me. It could be something completely different.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's also like I'm playing the optimist here. Like there's also
a
potential.
little bit of a spin. We did spring a leak in some of the fuel tank systems inside of Starship, which a lot of those are used for your attitude control. And so at this point, we've essentially lost our attitude control with Starship. We are still on a path toward re-entry. We are suborbital, so no matter what, we are going to enter. However, this lowers the chances for it to be a controlled re-entry. So if you think back to Flight 3, when we had...
Yeah, they're using nerd language to say it's flipping out of control.
Symptom of a loss of attitude control. We were in a roll by the time we hit re-entry. So we are going to re-enter. We should hopefully still have views. The Starlink satellites are pretty robust to still maintaining contact. We've got 4 of those terminals on the vehicle, and they're pretty robust to maintaining contact, even when we
At
are
Australian chatters,
in a
get
spin,
your cameras
essentially.
pointed up.
So we should hopefully continue to keep live views. It's going to still be dark until we get a little bit closer to entry, as we are a little bit, we're coming up on Africa. I believe we do swing just to the south of that continent. And by the time we start heading out over the Indian
this
Ocean,
could
we'll
fall
start heading
over
into a sunrise. So
the Middle East?
Not looking great with a lot of our on-orbit objectives for today, where we were hoping to do the PES deploy and relight an engine, and then really importantly get into that controlled entry to really put the heat shield through the ringer. Nonetheless, Starship marching forward towards that re-entry over the Indian Ocean, so we'll continue to hang with it. And
The
give you any
Houthis should course correct by sending one of their space missiles in the direction of this one.
So we got through Seco.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying to be really positive here.
And hit it up top.
We made it through second engine cutoff, and like Jack said earlier, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Oh God, the patch release jinxed it.
So there's a
No,
patch.
it didn't. It didn't. It didn't. Don't say that.
No, to your point, Gene. We all, I think, if you go back and watch the coverage from today and in the lead up to this mission, I think we've hammered home over and over again that the main goal is getting through SECO. The most important data is getting through SECO. Second most, I think, arguably, is the reentry data, which they're not going to get, which is not great, to be sure.
We're gonna get some.
But it's what did we say on this very stream right when we got to SECO? We said,
Yay.
you know, they did it. Yay, they got it.
Yeah.
Progress is, I believe, the exact word that Alex used. Progress has been made. We can be plenty forgiving of.
Isn't that cope? Like, didn't it not only fail to open the door for deploying its fake payload, but it also was like failing on re-entry? So it failed on both of the. It failed on both accounts, right? Tell this to the investors.